Pre-GE14, our current Federal Territories Minister Khalid Abdul Samad proposed a radical idea, using cryptocurrency as a political fundraising tool for Pakatan Harapan's election campaign. Post-GE14, that idea has grown. And now, Khalid hopes for Harapan Coin to move towards becoming a national cryptocurrency. But wait, hold up. A quick search of cryptocurrencies turns up headlines like "Beware of cryptocurrency" and "Bitcoin in free fall." What are we getting ourselves into? Cryptocurrencies have been hitting the headlines recently. Not only has the value of Bitcoin dropped from its all-time high of $19,000 to $4,000, a drop of 80%, there has been talk about having our own national cryptocurrency, Harapan Coin. Unsurprisingly, there has been some backlash. After all, do we really want a currency that could wildly fluctuate in value and has a decentralized nature that pretty much defies regulation? Before you yell, "Hell no!" let's take a look at the facts. First up, the idea of a digital currency isn't a fancy, newfangled idea insane millennials cooked up, okay? It's been around since the tech boom of the 90s. Riding on the internet wave, companies tried to create digital cash systems that would work with specific ecosystem. Think airline frequent flyer miles, but on a slightly larger scale. Unfortunately, those companies flopped, and the digital cash system dream seemed dead. Until that is 2009. That's when an anonymous programmer or group of programmers, we don't really know because anonymous, under the alias Satoshi Nakamoto introduced Bitcoin. Satoshi described it as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, kinda like the peer-to-peer torrent-like sharing networks that we all pretend to be unfamiliar with. Here's how cryptocurrency works. And brace yourselves, you are about to download a bunch of data. In essence, it is limited entries in a database no one can change without fulfilling specific conditions. Confusing? Think of it this way. It's exactly how we define currency. Take the money in your wallet right now. Your coins and notes are limited entries. We don't have unlimited ringgits floating around, right? And they fulfill specific conditions. For example, 1 ringgit note is a specific size, it's rectangular and blue. If it were green or larger than the approved size, well, it won't be a ringgit note because it did not fulfill the 1 ringgit note specs. Same with cryptocurrency. If it does not fulfill a specific set of conditions created by, say, Bitcoin, it will not be a Bitcoin. Now, transactions. How do those work? A cryptocurrency transaction is a file that says Muthu transferred X Bitcoins to Ali and is signed with Muthu's private key, like an ATM pin. After it's signed, the transaction is broadcasted to the entire network of peers, so Muthu can't send those exact Bitcoins to Ah Peng in the future. So far so good, right? Okay, that's the short story. Here's a breakdown of what happens during a transaction. Muthu wants to send a Bitcoin to Ali. The transaction is broadcasted on the peer-to-peer network that consists of computers called nodes. Ali gets a Bitcoin. The network validates that transaction using a series of algorithms, aka checks if it fulfills the conditions. Once the transaction goes through, it's reflected on the blockchain. A blockchain is basically a digital accounts ledger that notes every single transaction that has happened. So now the block says Muthu to Ali, 1 Bitcoin. Ali is 1 Bitcoin richer. Now for some sobering facts. Cryptocurrency is completely decentralized, which means there are no servers involved and no central authority controlling anything. That means the value is decided by buyers and sellers. If enough people decide that 1 Bitcoin is worth 1 million ringgit today, it is now worth 1 million ringgit. But if tomorrow everybody decides, meh, it's only worth 100 ringgit, boom, it's now worth 100 ringgit. And if you paid 1 million ringgit yesterday, you're Its decentralized nature means there are no central banks or governments to help cushion the fall or stop the trading. And there's no helpline if you accidentally send your Bitcoins to the wrong wallet.
What you need to understand is anything that goes on the blockchain, number one is irreversible, and number two, nobody controls it. Bitcoin may be a founder, but these founders cannot do anything about the transactions that happens there. Everything runs on algorithms, on a set of rules that are predetermined prior to the inception of this coin.
So with all these issues in mind, Harapan Coin, is it a good idea or a terrible potential disaster? It started off as a political funding tool, aimed at helping raise funds for Pakatan Harapan's GE14 run. You'd buy X amount of Harapan coins for X amount of ringgit, which was fine. Buyers won't be able to use those coins for anything else, which is a bit strange, but willing buyers, willing sellers, right? But now that it's possibly going to be a national currency, a lot of people are leaning towards terrible potential disaster. There are lots of reasons being floated as to why Harapan Coin wouldn't work as a currency. Money laundering for one, or the inability to track where currencies will go. the exploitation of cryptocurrency's anonymous status to use it for arms purchasing, terrorism, etc. In real life, Ali, Muthu and Ahmeng's names do not show up in the blockchain ledger. They would be a series of numbers and letters, which is kind of hard to identify. As well, the sheer terror of waking up to your money being devalued, it would put the shakes in anyone. But some of these issues faced by cryptocurrencies are issues normal currencies face too.
All I'm saying is, a vice activity can be transacted even if we use seashells. Anything can be vice. If they actually carry gold from A to B to C to D, you have no clue who they are. You don't know where they come from, but at least there is a digital point to it. I must have some digital presence one way or the other. And everything that we do, there must be a trace one way or another. It must go through some private servers or some servers around. So at least you can nail down who kind of owns this. You have a little lead, I would say.
Essentially, while anonymity is the name of the crypto game, it is going to be possible for authorities to trace accounts that use cryptocurrencies to, say, purchase weapons. Because pretty much everyone has a digital footprint. And let's be real, they'll have to surface at some point to change their crypto into digital or physical real currency. Almost all sites and apps for converting cryptocurrencies into fiat or government-issued currencies require at least an email address. If you're planning on moving that currency into your bank account, you'd need a passport. In fact, in the United States, the Internal Revenue Service won a court battle against cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase to disclose the details of more than 14,000 customers for tax evasion. Don't mess with the tax man. Okay, so that's a relief. But currency issues aside, some quarters disagree with Harapan Coin on a policy level. Think tank Center for a Better Tomorrow released a statement saying that Harapan Coin goes against the principles of good governance.
First of all, I think it's definitely no-go at this moment for a political party to actually start an ICO, initial coin offering. That means when you invest in the Harapan Coin, you're hoping the Harapan political party do well in the general elections. If not, then the Harapan Coin has no value. So basically, it's looking at the returns of the political party, and that seems to be a way of a vote buying. That's the worrying part I'm concerned about.
However, being against the idea of a national cryptocurrency doesn't mean we have to shut down the idea of cryptocurrencies once and for all. After all, experts say it is the future. In fact, despite the alarming drops in cryptocurrency value, New York Stock Exchange Chairman Jeff Sprecher recently said that Bitcoin and crypto are here to stay. It does seem very likely. Even after the steep plunge it experienced, Bitcoin's market cap hovers around the $75 billion mark. In second place is XRP with a market cap of $38 billion. And local cryptocurrency blockchain NAM has a very respectable cap of $734 million. The number of zeros is just insane! And an increasing number of countries are realizing, you know what, maybe this isn't a fad. There is a ton of money in this thing. So one big question has come up. How the heck do we regulate this? Progressive Bitcoin-friendly countries like Japan and Australia have already legalized cryptocurrencies. There, cryptocurrencies are legal tender and trading on crypto is based on regulatory frameworks. But they're a minority for now. Most countries regulate cryptocurrencies under existing securities and commodities laws and don't recognize it as legal tender, but are slowly starting to work towards creating new sets of legislation in order to accommodate crypto's blend of currency and commodity. Take Canada for example. The Canadian House Finance Committee recently recommended new crypto-specific guidelines that include requiring fiat to crypto exchanges to register as money service businesses that would put them under Canada's Proceeds of Crime, Money Laundering and Terrorist Financing Act, as well as help insure people's funds, creating a national license for cryptocurrency exchanges operating in Canada, and regulating cryptocurrency wallet companies so that any suspicious or unlawful transactions can be tracked or monitored by regulators. This is an amazing step forward, but unfortunately, new Canadian crypto legislation is being put on hold ahead of their 2019 elections. But since Malaysia is planning to create its own regulations by the first quarter of next year, we'd do well to take a page out of Canada's progressive stance on cryptocurrencies and maybe beat them to it. In the meantime, crypto isn't legal tender in Malaysia, but since nobody can stop you from trading it, trade with caution. Our Securities Commission also recommends that the public seek legal or professional advice if any cryptocurrencies look dodgy, and of course has a warning to the public of the potential risks that lie in dabbling in crypto. So get educated. 2019 isn't far away, and if our own regulations come into play as scheduled, the financial world is going to get real interesting real soon. Hi, thanks for watching. Did you check out our last week's episode on childcare? Here's our comment of the week from R.AGE. Better enforcements and heavier punishments on the abusers are needed. Please go check it out. And if you have a topic that you'd like us to discuss, leave it in the comment section.